think for the time being, you can say yes, because I think that Josh Allen has proven to be an absolute stud, and obviously Patrick Mahomes is coming off an injury.
That's Stephen A. Smith, and dog, that's not a small thing to say on national television. For 3 straight years, this wasn't even a conversation. Mahomes was QB1, no debate, case closed. Not anymore.
What? He's just happy to be part of the list. He's so sorry.
Hey, I'm in the top 10.
Hey, you know what? I'm in the NFL. Like, I don't know if I
was hoping I could win another Super Bowl.
I'm happy to be out there every day. I'm happy to be on the team.
That's Mahomes himself reacting to getting bumped from the top spot for the first time in years. And dude sounds like he just got cut from varsity and is trying to stay positive about JV. That's not the energy of a guy who's used to this.
It seems to me like we are in one of the golden ages of quarterback play.
We are.
And having the guy atop the league be a guy who's never sniffed a Super Bowl feels weird to me.
Never sniffed a Super Bowl. That's Nick Wright, and that line right there is the whole controversy in one breath. So let's break down how we actually got here, because this isn't some hot take rage bait. This is an actual, real football people putting their names on it. Here's the setup. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler goes out every summer and polls league executives, coaches, and scouts, then compiles their answers into a top 10 quarterback ranking heading into the season. For 3 straight years, Mahomes sat at number 1, unanimous, no argument. This year, for the first time since he became the guy, he drops to number 2. Josh Allen takes the throne. And before you say, well, that's just one dude's opinion, this is dozens of actual football evaluators putting their names behind it. And it's not like Mahomes fell off a cliff into obscurity. He's still ranked second, still very much in the conversation. But when you've been the automatic answer to who's the best quarterback in football for half a decade, dropping even one spot hits different. It's the sports equivalent of losing your parking spot at a job you've had forever. Technically, nothing's wrong, but everybody notices.
Where's Sam Darnold on this list? He just won a Super Bowl.
Agreed.
He scored 35 points against the Rams and beat Stafford in 2 games in the last part of the year.
That's the counter-argument in a nutshell, and it's a fair one. If we're picking apart one list for being wrong, we're going to find weirdness everywhere. Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl and can't crack the top 10. Meanwhile, Josh Allen, a guy who's 0-4 against Mahomes in the playoffs, gets handed the crown. That's the tension driving this entire debate. And look, the stats are legitimately messy on both sides. Since the 2020 season, Allen's got 73 regular season wins, tops in the league. Mahomes is second at 71. Allen's got 190 touchdown passes, one behind Mahomes at 191. He's got 8 career postseason wins, second only to Mahomes. On pure regular season volume, this isn't some fluke ranking. Allen's been a machine for half a decade.
At the same time, Mahomes got more number 1 votes than Josh.
Here's the plot twist nobody's talking about. Josh Allen technically wins the overall ranking, but Mahomes actually got more first-place votes individually. 58% of voters didn't have Mahomes at number 1, sure, but more of them still picked him over Allen head-to-head than anybody else. So has he really lost his throne, or did this thing just get decided by some weighted average math that makes for a spicier headline? Now, let's get to the turning point of this whole saga, because this is where it stops being about stats and starts being about resume.
He's 2-6 post wildcard round. The 2 wins he combined in those 2 games for 330 yards passing and 1 passing touchdown. And his greatest moment of his career after the wildcard round was a game he lost to Mahomes and the Chiefs. So it doesn't sit right with me that Josh is the best quarterback in the league right now.
2-6. That's Nick Wright pulling out the number that should make every Bills fan wince a little. Allen's an absolute legend in the wildcard round specifically, but once you get past that first game, his postseason record craters, and Mahomes has been to 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. You can't just erase that with a regular season stat sheet, no matter how gaudy the numbers look. But here's the counter to the counter, and it's actually pretty compelling. These rankings aren't asking who's had the better career. They're asking if you're building a team from scratch for 2026, who are you picking first? That's a completely different question, dog. And when you frame it that way, Allen's case gets a lot stronger because Mahomes is coming off the worst injury of his career, and his statistical numbers have been quietly regressing for 3 straight years, even before the knee blew up. Think about that gap for a second. Mahomes' completion percentage, passing yards, and touchdown passes all hit career lows last season, and that's with the injury only accounting for the final few games. This wasn't a guy who got hurt at his peak. It was a guy already trending down who then tore his ACL and LCL on top of it. Meanwhile, Allen just keeps stacking seasons where the counting stats barely move. 73 wins since 2020, an MVP in his back pocket from 2024, and he did it all without a true number 1 receiver most of that stretch. Khalil Shakir became a household name in Buffalo purely because Allen made him one. That's the argument for value over resume, and it's not a dumb one.
Until proven otherwise, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
That's a grown man announcing his soul is leaving his body before he says that sentence out loud, because he knows exactly how unpopular it is right now. And that's the whole vibe of this debate. Saying Mahomes is still number 1 in July of 2026 has become the contrarian take, when 3 years ago it would have been the only sane answer in the room. Here's why the stakes actually matter beyond bragging rights. Whoever's sitting at number 1 on this list is, functionally, the face of the league heading into a season where the Chiefs missed the playoffs for the first time in a decade, and the Bills are still chasing their first ever Super Bowl appearance. This isn't just internet ego. Coaches use these rankings to sell recruiting pitches to free agents. Networks build broadcast schedules around whoever's the marquee name. Vegas books shift odds based on who the safe pick is at quarterback. A ranking flip like this has real, actual ripple effects across the league. There's also a quieter storyline buried in here that nobody's talking about enough. This whole debate is happening while Mahomes is still working his way back from a torn ACL and LCL. He's cleared for training camp. He says his goal is week 1, but he's doing all of this rebuilding his throne talk while his own knee is still the biggest variable in the equation. Compare that to Allen, who's been Iron Man durable for years and just enters the season as the presumptive number 1 with 0 rehab drama attached to his name. That timing alone tells you a lot about why voters leaned the way they did, separate from any stat sheet. And it's rippling into every other quarterback conversation too. Once you crack open, is Allen really number 1, suddenly nobody's ranking feels safe. Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd got into it on the same show about Lamar Jackson dropping all the way to 69th on a separate players-only top 100 list, released the same week as this ranking. Their read on it was blunt. When a guy who's normally a top 2 or top 3 name among his own peers falls off a cliff like that, it's not just voters being fickle, it's players themselves starting to see what evaluators are seeing. Same goes for guys like Justin Herbert, who keeps getting ranked on pure arm talent and upside despite not having won anything yet, versus a Taron Lawrence who actually gets his team into the playoffs and still can't crack the honorable mentions. Every ranking on this list has somebody arguing the order is backwards.
Josh Allen would be 2A to Lamar's 2B because until the game against the Broncos, Josh has actually been better in the postseason than Lamar.
That's the honest middle ground a lot of smart football people are landing on. Not Allen's clearly number 1, not Mahomes never lost it, but something messier. These guys are all so close right now that the difference between number 1 and number 3 is basically a coin flip depending on what stat you're staring at that day. And it's not just analysts anymore, it's players calling this out publicly too. Once one-star athlete starts questioning where his peers land on these lists, everybody with a social media account and a grudge chimes in. That's the real ripple effect here. A single QB1 flip turned into a league-wide credibility check on every ranking anybody's ever trusted. So where does this actually leave us heading into the season? Mahomes says his goal is proving the doubters wrong the same way he always has, by winning in January, regardless of what the regular season numbers say. Allen's got a real shot to finally break that 0-4 curse against Kansas City and shut this whole debate down for good. And every single week this season, every close game, every stat line is going to get run back through this exact argument. Ball don't lie, and apparently neither does a room full of NFL executives who couldn't even agree with each other. Mahomes got more first-place votes, Allen got the higher overall ranking. Nobody's actually settled anything. They just handed the entire league a new argument to have for the next 7 months. And honestly, that's the best thing that could have happened to your Sunday content calendar.